Hi, Gary.
Good to
We
see
are
you, man.
on live. It's my first ever live stream. I'm so glad to do it with you.
Well done. I'm glad to be the guy.
Absolutely. I want to first get the vibe of the conference because we always said Bitcoin 2025 in Las Vegas. I think it's the biggest Bitcoin conference ever. It's probably
Yep.
the biggest one. Like it's a really huge conference. I think 35,000 people. How do you like it so far?
It's awesome. It's awesome, and it's in a really good location. Like I like the way Vegas was built to do these conventions, and Bitcoin now this will be the smallest convention in Bitcoin's history next year. Like this thing is going to be so big next year. You will have every major bank here showing their tools.
It will be huge. I watched the JD Vance presentation. Did you watch the speech of?
I have not got a chance to see that one.
He talked about something interesting. He talked about advice to Bitcoiners at the end of the speech, and it was interesting for me because he said like, don't make this mistake of ignoring politics. How do you think? How much attention should someone in Bitcoin pay attention to politics? How important is this?
Well, I think when you have a look, we have an administration that is extremely positive. The digitization of our world. They see the opportunity. You have 37, but besides Trump, you have 37-year-old average age between David Sachs and Besant and JD Vance. I mean, I want the politicians to be involved. That's why I gave Trump 12.8 Bitcoin in Nashville. People thought I was crazy, but and quite frankly, if I can just take 1 second or 30 seconds to, I have a bit of a bone to pick with the old OG Bitcoiners who have been, and I understand why you would be remiss to want to support politics, but I actually think that we need to start giving to the lobbyists and whatever lobbyists you like, but I am not doing the work. And like I like Coinbase because Coinbase fought the SEC. And so decentralization is awesome, but in order to get political movement, we're fighting some of the largest corporations on the planet. And unless we act as a centralized body to support some political process, I'm afraid that the Visas, MasterCards, JP Morgans, and the mid-tier banking system that is sucking the life out of Joe Consumer, they don't suck anything out of me. But out of Joe Regular, they're extorting these companies because they're grossly inefficient. And so if they have lobby dollars, then crypto industry, Bitcoin needs a centralized supporting lobby team. And that's why I think we're making the progress we're making, because the first dono was $25 million to Trump. And it got his attention. And we should want to get people's attention. We are the greatest industry in the world. We got to start acting like it.
I love that. It's really important. So like it's
But
just
we're
a natural
investing in the
progression.
future of it, right? You're literally, this is an insurance policy for me. I'm investing in the future of Bitcoin by laying out the political rails. And that is like, gets us to sustainability. Policy is really, really important. I know everybody thinks me as a trader and a risk taker, but without the policy in place, I would never be 86% allocated. Not a chance. No way.
In many ways, Bitcoin is the least riskiest things you can do right now. At least for me, how I see it. Do you see it as risk still?
I see it as risk less, like almost no risk now. I see no risk to Bitcoin. Unless you consider a risk of $5,000 downturn or $10,000 downturn. But $10,000 downturns that happen in 4 days, I haven't even looked at the price of Bitcoin. What is it?
109, I think.
Very interesting, right? I think it's at 107, actually. So you're 2,000 off. You don't care. I don't care. No one in 3 days has asked me about the price of Bitcoin at this trade show. That is a big deal. No one's asked me about the price, and no one has stated the price. Now, when they're not talking about price, we have made a lot of progress, man. Because I remember people walking around just looking at their damn What's happening? What's price is going down? That's not happening anymore. Like I go to some really cool shows and events like this, and I was in one in Montana with Salt with Scaramucci. He does a great show, by the way. Some of the biggest players in the world, not one mention of price.
Oh yeah.
They're talking, what are we building for 5 to 8 years? I mean, Citibank. What are we building for 12 years? It's a very different crypto world, man, than when you and I came in.
It's but is it most of the I like grab yeah. Is it most of the high net worth individuals and companies that are price agnostic? Because I see a lot of retail folks, a lot of people that just come into Bitcoin. Maybe they have like 0.5 Bitcoin, 0.2 Bitcoin. I think there it's like the price is still a bigger topic. I noticed just like on farmlands and stuff like that, if you put the price in, like there's more attention there.
Yeah.
But I see the institutions that they really don't care about the price. They're completely agnostic. If it's 50,000 or 150,000, they just buy it. It's a good asset, they buy it.
I actually don't even think they look at the price. They look at the market cap.
No.
$2 trillion industry, really, really big institutional players and smart people will be like, well, there hasn't been a $2 trillion industry that has ever failed.
Oh.
In the history of finance, if you get to $2 trillion, you have so much critical mass, you don't fail. And this is why I think Bitcoin at $2 trillion market cap is less risky today than it was when it was a $600 million market cap, because I can't say that about a $600 billion market cap, that it doesn't survive. This is why I don't believe XRP, Solana, or Ethereum will ever go on a reserve. Why? Like all you guys were getting jacked up buying XRP and Ethereum thinking it was going to get on a reserve. Their market caps are too small. $600 billion Ethereum market cap does not allow a pension or much less a government to go, I'm going to plow into my reserve into XRP or Solana. But Bitcoin, what are they? $2 trillion. And you're seeing this in the policy now. We will put digital assets on our balance sheet, assuming they have a market cap of exceeding this, and that leads you to one problem, and that is Bitcoin.
It's Bitcoin only, yeah.
$2 trillion. My brother, who does real estate, $330 trillion worth of real estate, his mindset, I'm not picking on him, but his mindset's going to be, this industry here, this 330 compared to this tiny little $2 trillion, this $2 trillion could get wiped out. Now, that's his viewpoint. I look at it very different. This 2 trillion only gets much bigger, and this 330 only gets smaller. Like to me, I don't want to be here. I want to buy this, and Bitcoin is already running down the racetrack and beating everyone. Like it's not like we're still testing. This is a 16-year-old super athlete that has never lost an Olympic champion result, and he's been attacked by everybody and their brother, and he's still alive. He is getting stronger. You're telling me you would bet against a 16 or 17-year-old athlete that's going into rugby, and he's competing against the veterans that have been around 35 years. He's going to destroy the 35-year-old. Like this is like betting against a horse that's never lost a race. And one of one breed line. Like you pitch this to the Saudis, they'll be like, I'm buying that horse. Right? So Bitcoin to me is just it's never lost a race. Never lost a race.
I feel real estate is a really interesting market for Bitcoiners, because I've probably interviewed like 30 real estate people that switched entirely or most of their real estate properties to Bitcoin.
Totally.
It's more than gold bucks. It's more than any other industry where I see like, I get the same properties, but just in a digital realm, and I don't have to deal with tenants and all of that physical shit for real estate. It's like I thought first we demonetized gold, we we demonetize maybe those ETF market and stuff like that. But actually, real estate is a huge market where financial energy gets sucked into Bitcoin. I find it fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense to me that the real estate guys would get it. And I suspect that the guys you're talking about are the big guys are struggling because the big guys have so much of it. So for them, I'll bet you most of your guys they have individual homes or some apartments, but they're not 40,000.
Yeah, they have a few properties.
It's the middle.
Yeah.
And it's the middle guy. See, I think Bitcoin wakes up people that are feeling more and more gravity. I use the word gravity to cover inflation, friction, in and outs, liquidity, everything friction, right? Like, takes me 3 days to buy a piece of real estate on a good day. Could take me 90. I can buy Bitcoin instant. Instant. When I go to sell property, it takes me 90 days to sell it. Yeah. Bang. There's just so many. The real estate, middle tier real estate guys will get this really quickly. And the big guys, I think, they will all come into Bitcoin because it's going to elevate their CAGRs. It's going to reduce risk. And I think the more they do it, 4 years from now, my brother will not buy real estate. I shouldn't say that. Look, he's a big real estate guy. Like he has a big business, right? But I suspect it's not going to be 15% of the portfolio. You're going to see people change this allocation radically.
It's also interesting because real estate is really big because of the borrowing against the real estate. Basically, you buy it on dump. How do you look at the same thing with Bitcoin?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? Let's say the median house is 500 grand. Just for easy math, right? I put up 50 to 100 grand, I get to buy a house.
Yeah.
I get to enter into a long-term obligation to service that contract, which is long-term interest rates. But also, the obligation is I have to buy insurance. I have to keep the house up. I have to learn how to clean leaves out of the gutters. I know you guys love being a roof man. Got married to that little girl that y'all wanted to do picnics on Saturdays and Sundays. You get married, you buy a house, investment, baddest investment in the history of mankind, by the way. Okay, it's just a lie. Your parents were wrong. Their parents were wrong. And you'll be drastically wrong because they didn't have Bitcoin. You have the opportunity to Bitcoin. You don't care if I rent or if I own. When I invite you to dinner, you don't ask me, hey, do you own this whole hotel? No, I don't. I rent it by the night. Nobody cares. So, Bitcoin, I do not have any leaves to clean. I don't have hurricane protection to do. I don't. If my plumbing goes bad and my housekeeper calls me right now, I have to stop this interview at your expense. You didn't ask me to buy a house. Imagine an employee coming to you and going, I got to go home for the plumbing. I look at him, bro, that's not my problem. You and your wife decided to buy the house. Let your wife do the plumbing. But you're making 100 grand a year here. You cannot just leave at 2 o'clock to go fix your investment, which is a bad investment. And they're going to keep going back home and fixing it. So it's just not, look, I'm interested in producing more energy with less energy. I want more to happen in less time. Time is gravity for me. And the older you get, like, you're going to remember this interview in 20 years because you're like, hey, that guy really, time, dude, is worth more than Bitcoin. Extremely finite. It is extremely poorly. No one's able to define when it's going to end. No one can define when it's going to end. We treat time worse than we do money.
Time is the only thing that's more valuable and more scarce than Bitcoin, as long as we die.
Sid, time. So if I can contract time, I actually raise lighten my whole load, and I become more wealthy. Wow. I don't think there's ever been a time, I've never thought of that way. I'm becoming more wealthy and lighter. And by lighter, I mean lighter, less litigious issues, happier, no lawyers around me, no regulatory people, no tax people, no maintenance, no insurance, no, hey, you have to renew this contract. That is a lot of noise that I no longer have to deal with. Like, I'm not having somebody call me up, hey, Gary, you got to do the K1s, right? Like most people complain that, hey, all these big companies and the big money, I don't have a chance. You must stop saying that to yourself because it's not true. You're being a victim. Bitcoin, not real estate, not dollars, not the stock market, not Nvidia. Bitcoin puts me on an equal playing field with anyone that's in doubt about Bitcoin. Okay. And it actually raises my profile. I was just with Dan Tapiro. Dan's gonna be one of the richest guys in Bitcoin. He sees every bloody deal there is, and I'm gonna go give him the guy a hug, and like we're all on a similar level. Like, but you know, if you do this, people. I don't think people ask, hey, why are so many interesting people going into Bitcoin? That's what got me into Bitcoin. I was able to observe the people, not the price. I didn't care about the price. I thought XRP and Solana and all these people, they were idiots, right? I mean, idiots, man, just screaming at each other. But I saw the Dan Tapiros and the Dan Hells and so many great, high quality people. I mean, really brilliant people that I like hanging out with. And their characteristics are a lot like mine. Little roguey, can't really stick them in a cage. You know, they don't really fit the MBA. This is how you do the program. And I found them very attractive, right? I found that wild spirit. Really, I like that. But when you stick this much intelligence into an industry, it always explodes. The intellectual capital is more important than all the money coming here. People look at the money coming in. I look at the intellectual capital and go, 140 IQ, 140 IQ, 140 IQ, 140 IQ. Whoa, man. 125 IQ. I'm going to slow down my weight. 140 IQ. Oh, man, they're coming through the door. Billions and billions of dollars. This is not like small little wager bets. Okay, these are like guys. I only do digital. I will not look at an analog deal. Like I wouldn't look at an analog deal. I don't care how good it is. Yeah. If it isn't digital, I'm not touching it. I want to be an expert in this space. See, but total focus. And we're in stage one, man. We're in stage one. We have not even we've not left the atmosphere yet. Like we're not even close to hitting the atmosphere.
What is the next stage for Bitcoin?
$4 trillion. It's going to move through. It's going to go to 3 trillion. 3 trillion to get it to the size of Saudi Aramco. 3 trillion gets it the size of Apple. It has to eat through these things, and it's not taking anything from Apple. When I say eating through it, it's eating through market cap. It's growing, right? One day it's in the high school basketball college tournaments. And next year, it's in the Olympics, right? And it keeps going up. One day, it is going to end up on the top tier because it has less friction. All the other buckets of money, bonds, debt, 300 trillion, they all have so much noise, so much friction, so much legacy. Bitcoin is like that cousin that's just free and he can do whatever he wants, right? Add that to all the 140 IQs that are walking through the door. So really, and add to that a global complex that is under so much duress right now, so unstable. This is a cocktail for perfection to be protected against trauma, war, inflation, insanity, degradation. I mean, just Bitcoin's made me a better person, actually. It's made me think about the goodness of $1 over another. I don't even think all dollars are equal. I do not believe all dollars are equal. I think there's probably very few dollars that are uncorrupted. And I care about that now. I do. I care about it.
How do you mean? What do you mean with like $1 is better than another one? Like from where you get it, or like what's the intention behind the dollar?
Well, for instance, I would rather crude oil at $400 and we stop killing people. I would rather pay $8 for gasoline, like the Europeans do, like you do, than we keep killing people. I don't need that much crude oil. I think Americans would do very well. One, I think energy is too cheap, and that is one of the problems. It establishes really bad behavior, consumption behavior. Most certainly, energy in the United States is priced too cheaply, and I can prove it with anyone. Ask one simple question. How many people listening to this show turned their laptop computer off last night? It'll be a big fat zero. 1 million people, there'll be maybe 30 people that turn their computer off.
Yeah.
That is an extreme waste of energy. It tells you that the price of energy is too cheap because they don't care.
Yeah.
If it was priced right, we would turn it up. See, so inefficient. So the whole energy complex ends up in Bitcoin. Because of that, if you can understand that inefficiency on the demand side alone, wow. Not to mention, by the way, 23% of all the energy sitting on the front end of a pipe, it never makes it to market.
It's so
because
crazy.
It doesn't have a way to get there. That's all becomes Bitcoin. All of that becomes Bitcoin.
It's crazy to think about the potential of that. I want to get to one thing with the borrowing against Bitcoin. I wanted to ask because it's a big topic right now in Bitcoin that I get a lot of questions about. If you should, like, if you have some expense or you want to enjoy your life, we talked in the previous episodes with you a lot about that. Hey, like, you should use your Bitcoin and enjoy life, like not just stacking and like you get Bitcoin to get freedom and not just like. You disagree?
Yeah, I disagree a little bit. Yeah, I disagree. I think people have too much pleasure and too little discipline.
I can agree with that.
And look, most people that I've met, they look at me and my brother's life, my life, whatever, and they go, "Wow, you've only ever worked for yourself. You would never work for anyone." And it's like, that's not true. I'd work for you tomorrow morning. I have nothing on who I'm working for. I could care less. I want to work with a great team. If I build a business, though, that business, I'm going to be broke most of the entire journey. And by broke, I mean, I do not have the ability to invest in anything other than that business. Because it's become it's become who I am as a human being. I am Gary Cardone. I build technology businesses. I own Chargebacks 911, blah, 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 right? It becomes an identifier. Problem is, I'm on that journey for 10 to 12 years, maybe. But it's not going to be much shorter than that. And there is no pleasure when you're running your own company. Saturdays and Sundays, shit's happening. You show up. However, on it seems like for some reason, the Bitcoin people that invest in Bitcoin want to make all the money in 12 days. Like if you hang for 4 years, you're not going to sell your Bitcoin on year 5 because you'll go, "Oh, wow, I'm going to do this another 8 years." Hold the Bitcoin for 4 years. Remember, real estate's a 10-year minimum. Private equity is 8. Building your own businesses. And to have Bitcoin for a 4-year stack, All you have to do is be disciplined for 4 to 6 years. Just tell your wife, dude, we're not going on holiday for 4 years, okay? It's cool. Go on a camping thing. You do not need to go on a $50,000 holiday. It's a half a Bitcoin. I mean, I can't. I go on those kind of, but I mean, and I, like, not everything I do has a return on. Like, I do enjoy my life, but I own a lot of Bitcoin, right? And I have no debt. I'm free, man. I have enough Bitcoin now that I have escaped what normal people call gravity or inflation. And I really regret saying that sometimes because I'm like, it sounds bad, but like it's taken me 50 years to learn this, man. Like, and I'm looking at it going, wow, I've just learned the Holy Grail. It took me 50 years, man. I've been digging hard for my whole life. I mean, it makes me emotional. You can see almost like, I'm like, God. So I would say, yes, do not go on holiday. Don't gamble. You know, spend 4 to 6 years, man, building super wealth, and you're gonna escape the gravity that most people feel. I mean, you can always go back and do something different if it doesn't work. But I'll refund anybody's money over 6 years. I think I could make that financial advice. Even here, 107. I buy 107 4 years. I will be in the money. No one that has ever held Bitcoin in 16 years has ever lost money if they held it for 4 years and didn't get clever. It's the clever guys, dude. Like, I know people that are too smart for Bitcoin. I know a lot of them, dude. They're either too smart or too arrogant. One or the other. But I say that to a lot of rich guys all the time. You might be too smart for Bitcoin. And it's a bit of a, not, hey, everybody gets Bitcoin when they deserve it. I think that's a horrible statement. But you might be too smart there, Rob. That MBA might cost you $300 million. Like, I see that a lot, man. Overthinking this thing. You can overthink this thing really easy.
That's really interesting. I love that you said you're zero debt.
Yeah.
So
I have debt, but I have control. I believe in debt.
Okay.
I believe in correctly priced debt and the right volume. I don't believe in 12% debt.
Yeah.
I borrow against my Bitcoin. I refuse to pay 10, 11, 12, 15%. Fuck you. It's the greatest collateral in the world. You can call yourself a Bitcoin company if you want, but if you come after me and try to charge me 15% for lending my Bitcoin money back on my Bitcoin, I don't think you're really a Bitcoin company. I think you're another parasite that's trying to suck the life out. And these rates aren't holding. I got rates in the single digits in volume. That means this is all going to change now. Like, you're going to have, no one ever needs to sell their Bitcoin now. I won't say never, but there is no need for me to sell Bitcoin. I just paid my taxes by borrowing against my Bitcoin. And if I can borrow at 5 or 6, I can outpace 5 or 6. The 10-year treasury, all the financial wizards are, doing their mental masturbation at 8 o'clock in the morning on all these finance shows going, the 10-year yield is going to destroy the whole world. My brother even. And I'm like, bro, let me just ask you, would you borrow money? Would you lend me money at 5.5%, which is 500 basis points less than the 10-year treasury? Would you loan me money at 5.5% for 10 years? Would you? I got excellent credit. Would you loan me money for 5.5% for 10 years? Because the treasury is at 5. So I'll pay you a premium. Would you do that? The answer is going to be no way. Would you borrow $1 trillion at 5% for 10, 20, or 30 years? Yes, please. And that's why the 10-year treasury ain't going down. And when I say this to people, it drives me crazy, man. No, you're wrong. Oh, yes, I am most certainly right. It's supply and demand.
Those are the people that are too smart for Bitcoin.
Oh, for sure. And they're actually dumb because they're not really looking at reality. The reality is, over 30 years, the average interest rate has been 8.5% to 9%. And the entire U.S. economy between 1972 and today exploded on interest that is 40% more expensive than it is today, and everyone's freaking out. I'm like, if you cannot run the world on 6 or 7% debt, there is something wrong. If I can't find a way to make a 6% improvement every year on my life, there must be something.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm spending too much money. That's usually the problem.
We have to be more disciplined.
Yeah. Oh, totally, dude. Totally. Now, on that, I'd just like to go somewhere because everybody thinks this is about Bitcoin and go, oh, yeah, but I can't buy $100,000 Bitcoin. I met a woman here, she's 31 years old. She's divorced, got 2 kids. She owns 30 Bitcoin. And when I looked at her, she told me she owed 30 Bitcoin. I said, wow, you're the first woman I've ever met at 30 years old that can literally tell any man on the planet to fuck off. Now, why do I say that? And why am I so rude? I think freedom. My question to everyone is, hey, how do you define freedom? Remember when we did this?
It's the first episode
I
that
had
we did.
this when I did that. I like doing these shows because the more I speak out loud, I really do try to be extremely honorable. I'm not pitching anything. I have nothing to pitch. I buy Bitcoin. You can't buy my Bitcoin. I don't want to sell anything to anybody, right? And that allows me to be extremely neutral on the viewpoint. And I look at it this way. This 30-year-old woman, what she should do is pound herself into this industry now. Because there is no, I could get 40 jobs here today. You could get dozens of jobs. Why would they hire us? Because we're here, man. If you're a woman, there are no women in this industry. You should come into this industry. If you don't have a resume or a college degree, you should come into Bitcoin, dude. We don't care. In fact, I'll build the case. It's better to have a blank sheet.
Yeah.
If they had good parents like you had good parents. Guarantee you had good parents because you show up. You're consistent. That's all I need to say. You're consistent. You had good parents. Did you have good parents?
Absolutely.
Totally do. You're gonna raise your kids the way your parents raised you. If you marry the right chick.
It's so interesting.
So the job part, it's so stupid because they're like, I can't afford $100,000. Well, there's $100,000 job in Bitcoin waiting for you. Now you may not start at 100, you might start at 8, but right now you're at 0. So who cares? 8. You should pay to come in this industry. You should talk to your dad and go, hey, look, instead of me going to college, I bet you pay Gary Cardone or Robin 12, 15 grand a year and go mentor and tutelage and become an apprentice for a master. Like Michelangelo did. Michelangelo didn't get paid to become a genius. He worked for a mediocre marble master, a mediocre guy. And he swept the freaking floors. And now he knows hard to make good marble when the floor's dusty. Right? But that's the piece people forget. Oh, wow, order is necessary for a business. Organization. Order and organization are not required in Bitcoin. HR, no requirements for HR. Thank freaking God. No HR department. Who wants to hire a big HR department? Consultants. It's the only people that want a big HR. So the jobs, man. I mean, look at you. You're living a really robust life because you found the industry that embraces who you are. It doesn't try to change you. In every industry I've ever been in, they all wanted me to be a little different. And it's irritating because it stymies creativity and innovation. Stymies. When I have to wear a suit and a white tie and look like everyone else, it literally is stymie innovation. I wear a Jimi Hendrix t-shirt all the time. I love my Jimi Hendrix t-shirt because it's literally a silent message to everyone. Why do we all adulate over extreme personalities and then we spend an entire lifetime trying to be as vanilla as possible? It's sad. Janis Joplin, Donald Trump, say what you want, dude. Outrageous, right? It's weird. That's weird to me, man. We adulate all these crazy people And then we don't want to be that crazy. I want to be crazy. Like, I want to be really, really unique and free. And this freedom thing, back to that point, is my ability to say yes to anything. Whether I do it or not, it's different. Can I get on a private plane and go wherever the hell I want? Now, that may be a really crazy dream for some people, but I'm able to do that. It's cool. I don't have to like smash you with it or anything. It's a cool thing. I'm also able to say no to anyone about anything, including DOJ, SEC, FBI. Fuck it, stop it, dude. I don't do anything wrong. You can't come hurt me. I'm not going to let you come and capture me. So the ability to say yes and no. Wow. I don't think many people have that, man. In the 21st century, we should have the ability, the power to say yes and no to anything. I've never had that until I met this industry.
It's so interesting because I see outside of Bitcoin almost never people that are doing anything abnormal, anything wild. And in Bitcoin, it's almost exclusively wild things that people are doing. They have really wild CVs, they have wild experiences, and they have really interesting opinions. That's why I have a podcast with over 500 episodes, and I'm still not bored or like,
What?
Not bored.
Yeah.
Like it's still super interesting, and it gets more interesting over time because there's so many different characters. And I mean, we are sitting here the third time now, and I feel like we can do it another 50 times. And I'm still like figuring new things from you out and learn new things from you. It's wild how deep those Bitcoin personalities do.
Yeah, I think I love to think. Excuse me. I love to think in pictures, and I think about Mercury. Bitcoin looks to me like Mercury, in that if you put Mercury on a table and there's a gap somewhere, it's immediately going to that gap, and it fills the gap up. Someone asked me once, they said, "Hey, how would you define your career in a couple of sentences?" Like, I find big gaps and fill them. I mean, that is really basic. Like, you laugh and you're like, "Oh, that's damn smart." I don't need to write a big book about it, man. Find a gap, fill it. Find a bigger gap, fill it. That creates a business, supply and demand. Oh, there's some people don't even know there's a crack. Before Bitcoin, nobody really knew there was a 3.5% to 8% gap in Visa MasterCard payment process. By most beautiful duopoly, that is, by the way, duopoly is basically a double monopoly construct that operate as a monopoly passively, and they never get in trouble for it. And the DOJ, SEC, FTC, and every other governmental agency support you getting completely hosed, and completely more hosed by a duopoly that is grossly inefficient. There is no competition for them, and that is why they're grossly inefficient. Just like all the fracking on this planet in oil and gas happened at $30 crude, not 100. Governments, if you don't allow competition, which you've allowed to facilitate no more than four companies running every industry on this planet, we will continue to have people paying too much for too many things because you have no competition and you're supporting a monopoly contract. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting that congressmen and women are in office making millions of dollars doing, I don't know how they make that much money, but they then allow Visa, MasterCard, the banking cartels, the energy complex, the financial houses, the debt markets, the Google and freaking the Google construct on social media is disgusting. They take 33% of every dollar you send him on YouTube. Don't send him YouTube through YouTube, dude. Send him crypto. Okay? Because we're feeding Visa and MasterCard every time we do that. I stop taking money. Don't send me a contribution. I don't want to help Visa. 33% to give to whoever. It's Google. Go. By the way, I'm complaining about Visa. Google's making $33. Somebody sent me $300, dude. Google scrapes $100 for what? For my content. For my content. So that should not even be allowed, man. Like literally, I stopped doing it because I will not support the supply. So like, you started smiling when I said, y'all send him digital. Like he doesn't even see. This is where I build the case for other tokens. I could easily build a case that other tokens are less predatory and evil than Visa and MasterCard. Like, let's remember who the real enemy is, XRP, Solana, and all you. The real enemy is not each other. The real enemy is all the stuff outside in legacy land. And we're sitting here, Brad Garlinghouse is arguing with us about Bitcoin. It's like, bro, we shouldn't be doing that, man. Should be one common message, and the best crypto wins. Best crypto is most certainly going to be Bitcoin. You can go chase this alpha if you want. It's stupid. I mean, this is dumb and dumb. It just shows me that you have a broke mindset, right? Why would you buy a Volkswagen? It's a used Volkswagen, never been tested, when this super freaking car is sitting here, dude, fully tested. Like I don't even get it. It's like you're getting ready to get maybe married, do the old prop, and then I see you on a Saturday night hanging out chasing some 19-year-old skank because it's 2:00 in the morning. You think it's going to be fun. It is going to be fun. And Sunday or Monday, you're going to have a lot of regret. You might have got a little pop on the old dick meter, but it's not a good investment. See, short-term excitement has nothing to do with a 4 to 8 year gravity-defying, time-defying machine. Like you're comparing an idiot to the greatest opportunity in history. Right? Some moment, you might as well just go master it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know this is a hard example, but it's in fact the only worst example I could use would be using drugs, recreational drugs, right? So it just there's a lot of weird contradictions when people look at Bitcoin. I think it's because they're carrying all this weight, legacy weight, and that you have to get through that weight of what you think you know that is just not true. What you think you know, you're sure you know, but in fact, it's just not true. There's a lot of people that, you know, I've seen a lot of people lose a lot of money. They were certain it was for sure, and it was based on just bad data, fundamentally wrong data. Like, what is inflation? Just common, just any of that. What's gravity?
I love that. And it's a focus that's really hard for people, especially the new ones. They're going all over the place with like where they're going and what they're doing in Bitcoin, and even like going into different altcoins. Like I completely changed actually my opinion on the altcoins. Before I started the podcast, it was really toxic. I was like, hey, like we should burn all the altcoins down. And now I'm like, I focus solely on Bitcoin, but they can live. Like they can do whatever they want. It's fine what they're doing. But that focus gets lost, you know, like I especially younger crowd. I analyzed today actually the age range of my YouTube statistics, and I have 2 times as many people over 65 than under my age, under 26 years old. Because all the people under my age, they're chasing 100x meme coin. And the people that are 35, 45, 55.
This is the contradiction I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They have more time than I do. And they're not betting on Bitcoin. They're trying to speed it up. And I'm sitting here going, oh, I don't need any of that action. I don't need any speed. What I need is certainty. Pure certainty.
What do you see as the one thing that most Bitcoiners could improve on? Like wherever you want to take it in life or like in Bitcoin, in the ecosystem, whatever, wherever you want to take it.
One of the reasons a number of people have made the comment, they're like, Gary, like, they think I've been here for a long time, right? And I haven't been here for a long time. I've been here maybe 4.5 years. And they're like, you came in so hard, so heavy. One, you didn't know I'd been studying it. Two, I had a problem. Okay. And my problem was I was running faster. I was having to run faster, do more, and wait longer for the results. And I could feel it. I also knew that I've always been able to see risk in the market. And although I may look like my brother Jay, we just operate very different. I'm pretty early on the risk curve, and it's served me very, very well. The problems that I was seeing were not going to get fixed with investing more dollars into more U.S. dollar businesses or more legacy business. See, this is the way I look at this. We are digitizing planet Earth. We've crossed over this critical mass point where 8-track tape. You don't even know what an 8-track tape is. I used to listen to Grand Funk, smoking bad marijuana early in the morning to go to school with Grant. And there was this big old thing. It was this big, and you'd stick it in a machine this big in your car, and the tape would wobble. You know, that was our music, dude. I had 30 cassettes sitting in my, they're big too, but that was the way we did music. Now, today, I have 50,000 pieces of music on a thing I hold in my pocket that weighs less than a pound. I'm pretty sure I'm never going to use that 8-track tape player. If that's true, we will only digitize more. Right? We've met critical mass, though. You're moving from analog because these two worlds, in fact, will not coexist. This is why can be so committed, because I know how long it will take Legacy, Visa, MasterCard, JP Morgan, any company that's got an HR department, they're going to just struggle moving in. You have to move in hard and fast into this industry with the least amount of baggage. And that's why I'm short. By the way, Bitcoin allows me, it is a option that allows me to short the entire legacy market with never having to pay a premium. And if I'm wrong, I don't lose on the put, because if I'm wrong, the value of Bitcoin will go up anyway. And then I have a call option on Bitcoin. It's a really, as soon as I came in here, I went, oh my God, this is a long duration put and a long duration call option. And I rarely use any of this terminology. If you notice, I don't need to sound more important than I am, because I'm not really that important or relevant. But also, I don't need to call a insurance policy a fancy name. But that is what it is. It's a long dated call option with no premium. A guy like, commodity traders would be like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's very different than a piece of real estate. So it's a fact. I want to be in industries that are exciting. I have no interest in investing in a boring thing. I don't want to be bored. And most people don't think about living their life and living in their work. Like, I don't really go to work. I'm never going to work. I go play. And I go do my deal, man. I have no hobbies. This is what I do, man. I'm really good at it. Just like a professional athlete focuses on being a professional athlete, and they train their whole lifetime. They don't give up on Sundays. I know people that go work for General Dynamics, and Monday morning they start looking at who they're going to call. and what their plan is. Can't live your life like that, dude. I never stop thinking about, I'm not always, like, I meet people. I'm living my life, and my life is allowing me to make money and generate income and add value. And I get to feel good about it. And I make a lot, you know? In fact, I don't even want to make anymore. Imagine getting to a position, Rob, where you're like, oh, I don't even want any income. All you want to do is keep investing, not saving, keep investing and building, keeping that foundation, that concrete foundation. You're just making it thicker and thicker and thicker without adding any weight. Wow. I'm at breakfast this morning with some big real estate guys, and they're like, this is the best location in the planet, man. Best location. I'm like, you know, you guys, I just love Bitcoin. It's the best location, and it has no location. And they both look at me like, huh? This guy's on drugs. Like, bro,
it's everywhere and nowhere.
Best location? No, look, welcome to the paradigm. This is the future of digitization. Location? No location.
I love that. We have one question that I ask each and every one of my guests, but I changed it a little bit because otherwise it will get boring over time with guests that have been on multiple times. What have you learned since you have last been on the podcast? So like, I think like half a year or something like that, outside of Bitcoin.
Outside of Bitcoin. Well, I will say exclusively and first to present on your show through Rumble that I've been very transparent since I've been here, that I've had all these FTC investigations, and I've had the 3-letter agencies checking me out with no red flags whatsoever, but whatever. 4 years, dude. 4 or 5 years. This was that whole old administration wanted to kill anybody in crypto and kill anybody that's doing innovation. Yesterday, I got a letter. Courts have completely thrown everything out. There were RICO filings against me, man. I mean, I have some of the biggest consulting firms in the world going, bro, you got a RICO claim against you. I'm like, yeah, I told you this bullshit. But I spent 4.5 years going through this process. And I'll tell you, one, Bitcoin protected me. It allowed me to stay strong. I never did anything wrong. I never stopped being quiet about not doing anything wrong. I was not obnoxious, but I didn't do anything wrong, and I beat their ass. This is a class action group of lawyers. What they are allowed to do in the United States is absolutely disgusting. I settled the FTC case, spent $7 million over. They wanted $100,000 for some felonious, horrible fraud that I committed. It should have been $100 million, and you should put me in prison. If I did something wrong, Google just got a $95 million bill for stealing everybody's data. Like $95 million should have been $95 billion, dude, and put the people in jail. No one ever goes to jail. I do something wrong, DOJ, slap my ass in jail and stop me from operating the market. You can't keep just taking payments from people. I mean, let me just write a check for every bad thing I've done. So this is not working anymore, man. United Health lost $280 billion worth of market cap in 4 days. 3 CEOs, one of them shot in front of a hotel. These businesses have problems, man. Red flag. Like, I'm looking at the red flags. That's what I've learned. Oh my God, man. Open your eyes to the red flags. 3 CEOs in 4 years, a United Healthcare and a murder and a stock price. Smoke. There might be a fire somewhere. I mean, this is Enron times 10. These are monster companies. The other thing I've learned, we're in a very different paradigm today. Never before in the history of finance, excuse me, if we had companies on the public stock market moving $250 billion in a day. NVIDIA has done that 3 times in the last year. These are colossal. Palantir you could have bought for $65 the other day. It's $130 right? United Health loses $280 billion. This has never happened, man. These are catastrophic hammers. And then what happens the next day? The S&P goes up.
Mm.
We file a nuclear weapon somewhere, the S&P goes up. We blow pipelines up, the S&P goes up. We have a terror attack in Israel, the S&P goes up. We have Moody's downgrade the United States, the S&P goes up. At the end of the day, dude, literally the end of the day, it's settled green. That market is being massively managed. And if you can't see it, you must be blind at this. So I've learned that the gravity is getting heavier. The opportunities are massive. There's tons of glittery objects all over the place. And most people are going to chase the glittery objects and they're going to be wrong. I'm going to continue amassing as much freaking Bitcoin as I possibly can. My goal is to acquire 1,000 Bitcoin as a single entity. I hope I can get there. I think I can get there. It's a long haul. But when people tell me, hey, look, man, I can't even buy one. Bro, my goal is 1,000. My goal relative to your one is much harder to achieve. I don't know that I'm going to achieve it, but I have a goal for quantity of Bitcoin. I've learned to do that now. It's no longer dollars. It's like, how many Bitcoin do I have? I want more Bitcoin because this is a real estate play. Just to go back to real estate, if you really think that the Manhattan real estate gig or the Monaco, I own all the land in Monaco. Dude, if you like that play, Bitcoin is the greatest location with no jurisdictional location risk. I can just move it around, man. I cannot move Beverly Hills to Saudi Arabia. I don't care how nice the hotel is, man.
I love that. It's so true.
The other thing I've learned also, and the big premium, is how many wonderful people like you I have met, and that I'm going to develop lifetime relationships out of this industry that I have never been able to achieve in natural gas, electricity in 2 countries, payments, or real estate. I've never achieved this many really good relationships where I can call Jeff Booth. Hey, Jeff, I have a problem and I'm thinking about doing something, but I might be, what do you think? And I've, be able to call people like that just to get some rational thought process is really a beautiful thing. And I value that, and I want to be in an industry where it's more than the trade.
It's the openness. It's unbelievable.
I'm able to embrace my life around work, and there you would not even know when I'm working. Like you would have, if a girl comes to my house and hangs out with me she doesn't ever know when I'm really working, because everything for me, there is no, I'm enjoying my life. And imagine if we taught our children to do that from 6 or 7, that they're not on a treadmill, man, being hamster. I mean, it's taken me a long time to learn that, to get that. It's a gift too. It's a gift for me to be able to go, I don't have to go do a bunch of stuff to generate value.
I love that. We are unfortunately already a little bit at the end of our time. We have one more question, as always, the end routine, where the previous guest is asking a question for the next guest without knowing who the next guest actually is. And it's a really interesting one. It's outside of Bitcoin. He asked, what is one habit that you have that was always there and you never want to give up, if there's some habit that you always do in your life?
Love that, man. The habit is being an absolute extreme, hyper-focused, consolidated player. And by that, I mean obsession has served me extremely well. And I will no longer listen to anyone that suggested that I should have done anything other than be extremely obsessed. I mean, like I'll stay up to 4 o'clock in the morning painting. I had people like, hey, you can't let, it is that just diving in deep, man, that for me, I want to die that way. And guy was just going all in, balls busting. I don't know if I can paint, dude, but I'm gonna try. And for nothing more than, hey, I think if I do something enough, I can become great. There's no natural gifts. I mean, I think I have some natural gifts, but this thing of I think I've met maybe 6% of Gary Cardone.
6,
6, 7, no more than 10. No more than 10, because if I'm in a different environment, I notice that I'm different. I know, right?
It's totally like you're in a different environment with different people. I know that because I speak English and German. I'm different on a German-speaking Bitcoin podcast. I speak about different topics when I'm on an English-speaking podcast. It's like even if you're different language, it's fascinating.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Gary. Before I let you go, as always, where can people find you, reach out to you, ask you questions?
If you can't find me, you're never going to find Bitcoin. I'm so easy to find. It's dumb. So
just type Gary
Cardone.
Maybe just Gary.
No, there's a Gary coin. I don't want anything to do with that.
Thank you so much, Gary. It was a pleasure.
Brother.
And as always, thank you so much for joining me. And I'll be back tomorrow with another episode. Bye-bye. Bye, Gary.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.